Right, so this video I want to talk about this concept that it is less is better. Our society tell us the opposite, actually. Our society tells us the more you have, the better. The more like physical goods that show other people how successful you are. You know, like, oh, he has 3 houses, one in Byron Bay, one in Sydney, one in Melbourne CBD, you know, like he has 4 sports cars, 2 Ferraris and 1 Lambo, and you know, this sort of thing. And there's different levels and layers of it. Like, obviously that sort of wealth is, and material possession is for the very, very wealthy. But even for the wealthy, like, the most valuable thing to somebody that wealthy is actually their time. So they no longer operate on an hourly rate. The most valuable thing to their time. Like the perfect example of that is the logical reason behind them having a private jet. They're not getting the jet so much as a flex on, like, look at my new Ferrari, because a Ferrari won't really get you any more time. The cars might go faster, but you still have to obey the speed limit, right? So if you drive a Ferrari or a $10,000 car, it doesn't really make a difference. It won't get you anywhere quicker. It won't save you time. But a private jet, that's going to save you time, because normally you have to arrive to the airport, check your luggage, get there 3 hours early for an international flight, an hour and something for a national flight. On the plane, wait, off the plane, process. Whereas these people with private jets, a big American business dude who wants to go, right, I need to fly from, I don't know, Chicago to New York. Right, what do we do? Quick, order it. They've ordered it. It can happen in the moment. They might order it, half an hour or an hour just before. They'll fly to where it takes off. They'll literally pull their car up to where the private jet or the plane takes off. They'll get on with what's on their backpack or whatever they need. They all jump on, a few checks, off they go. They're landing, straight back down. There's a car to take them straight out of the airplane to where they need to go. So they'll literally save hours and hours and hours of their time. And people who are that wealthy, like, an hour of their time is worth like an insane amount. Like, you're talking, for some people, like, an hour of their time can be worth like 500 grand, and they've just saved 3 hours of their time. So really they're winning, right? So, like, other than a private jet, what else is going to save people time? And you've got this idea that if you have the house and here and there and everywhere, that's actually taking up more of your time. Yeah, like, even if you have to organize people to look after those places, so like a gardener, security, someone to just check on it, all those sorts of things, that all takes time. Even if you have to hire someone to then hire someone to do it, that still takes time. So, like, having more and more possessions, it takes more of your time away. You're time poor. The more possessions you have, the more time poor you are. Think about it. The bigger your house is, the harder it is to clean. The more time it takes. You fill it up with more stuff, so you spend more money. And then it's just more things to worry about, like, it's getting dirty. Okay, now we have to vacuum. Now we have to replenish, get new stock or new furniture. It's literally a crazy thing. One of the best things you can do is live in a small space where you're forced to have less. And then still, like, you should, on a weekly basis, I think, go through your space and go, when was that thing last used? And if that thing has not been used for, like, say 6 months, you would look at it and go, am I going to use that in the next 6 months? If not, throw it out or give it away. Like, I'm just looking out to my apartment right now, and I can see out in the open, like, this sort of rug that would sit on the ground has a bit of a rip in it. I'm not going to use it again, so I should give it away, you know? All these sorts of things that are like around that are kind of just taking up space, but they're not getting used. Like, is there a purpose for them? So even in your own space, even in your own bedroom, you know, like clothing is a big one. How much clothing I've got here. I've got a whole rack of clothing, and most of it won't get used because A, it's like for winter weather, and B, like even of the summer gear, most of the stuff like hasn't been used or it won't get used. You know what I mean? Like, you should only really have the stuff out that you're going to use on a regular basis, and the less the better. I mean, that's one of the great things about going traveling. If you've just got like a 40-litre backpack, then you really have to choose. It's like, what are my top 3 shirts? What are my top shorts? You know, because there's only a certain amount that you can bring. It's like living in a smaller space. You're forced to be minimal. Minimalism is a great thing. It really is. Like, the more physical shit that you have, the less happy you will be. It's the same like the mind. If your mind is so cluttered with all the things that you need to do and all the things that you need to worry about, the less the better. Like, that's a minimalism concept in itself. So, you know, just like realize that this is a whole paradox of they want you to work so that you buy more things, so that your time is less free. Like, that, the number 2 things, in my opinion, are your health and your time. If you've got your health and your time on your side, you're winning, man. Like, they're the 2 priorities, and then it's the money, right? And where people get trapped though is they go, I'll go get the money, and they get themselves a job for like 40, 60 hours a week, 40 hours maybe, and 20 hours of that's commuting. Then all of a sudden they're time poor. So it's like completely out of balance. They've got like their money and income here, but their time is here and their health is here. Like, that's no good. Or a lot of people can do it where they'll get like their money up and their health up. That's great. But what about your time? Oh no, I don't have time to spend with the kids or the family or to go anywhere. You know, some people, I mean, it's quite rare, have a lot of time, no money, right? But then their health is somewhere here, and that's more of a balance. So it's more about getting the money that you need to live, as long as your time is free, getting your time free, and getting your health to where it needs to be. I mean, this is number 1. Your health is number 1. And very often health is substituted. Like, if you're sitting here with your health, yeah, and then you're here with your finances, but you're like, I need to earn more, so I need to work more, I need to get a promotion. Money goes up, health goes down, because you're stressed all the time. You're feeling a constant need to look after all the things that you're earning. And in the first place, why do you need the money? The money really is only to buy bullshit. Yeah, it's true. It's to buy bullshit. You just be poor forever. Most people are still trying to get ahead financially 5 years before they die. For what? For what? Because they're living in fear. They're living in fear. Why else? Like, there'd be no other reason. If you're fucking loaded, if you've got heaps of money, yeah, but you're gonna die in 5 years, who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Your time is the most important thing. Okay? I think what happens is most people are indoctrinated from a young age. They go to school for 8 hours a day, yeah? Primary school, secondary school, then they're into the workforce or they're straight into university, but same sort of principle, another 8 hours. So from a young age, what do you do with your whole day? You go somewhere and you have your time filled for you. Then people retire and they're like, shit, I've got all this money. What do I do with my time? They don't know what to do with their time, because from such a young age, from like the young age, your time has been filled for you. It's like living in a prison. almost. Obviously you have more freedom, but you're still being told how to spend your time. People don't know themselves when they're not being told what to do. If you've got a job and you turn up and this is what I do, and then I go home, your routine is all set for you. It revolves around this job. All your time revolves around this job. I've got to get ready for work. I've got to pack my lunch and my food for work. I've got to travel to work. I've got to work. Then I've got to come home and do it all again. Your time and your day is pre-filled. It's calendared out by someone else. Most retired people have a midlife crisis once they retire. They got all this money and all the time in the world. It's like, what do I do with it? They have a bit of fun for 6 months, travel here, there and everywhere, but then they're like, what do I do? They don't know what to do. Their life has less purpose, you know? Why? Because they don't know how to put together their day and who their identity is beyond their job. You ask anyone, you go, hey, what do you think is your identity? Like if you go up to someone and you say, who are you? And they can't tell you who they are beyond what their occupation is, that's your exact answer. People identify with who their occupation is because that's what they do with the majority of their time. If you don't have your occupation, if you're high in wealth, but you're also high in time, that's when you're going to find out. You don't even need to be high in wealth. You can just be high in health, high in time, have a little bit of money, you can find out who you are. Because you're going to be left to your own devices. What do I do? What do I get up? Like, you're just sitting around. Like, well, I've got to find something to do. I've got to entertain myself. I've got to find some purpose. So you be constantly like looking at yourself going, what do I really want? What do I really want? What do I really want? That's what happens. Most people don't get to it though. They'll retire and then they'll go, shit, like I'm really lost. I'll just keep working anyway, and they'll have 2 or 3 other jobs. A lot of the time anyway. So yeah, I think that rant's pretty much done. I think when your time is free, it's all about finding who you are, and you're finding who you are through your daily activities. I think it's more about becoming someone more present. Like, ultimately presence wins. Like, who gives a shit if you're fucking loaded but like you've got a massive ego? Like the other day I walked into this bag store down at the shopping centre, and this probably, I'd say it would be late 40s, maybe early 50s dude walks in. He's got like a Asian girl on his shoulder. You can just tell by the way, like the dynamic there, that he's paying her, you know, or like she's just along for the ride to like get some money from him for whatever. Like, it was a complete mismatch. Like, the vibe was way off, but he was rude as shit. Like, he walked in and he's like, no, you told me like this, and like I listened to the whole conversation. Like, he was just a miserable person. And it's like, I think of people like that, and I think, when are they gonna reflect on themselves and go, how do I become useful for the world? How do I become someone who serves the people, who does good in the world, that promotes happiness, that finds presence? He wasn't present at all. This guy like wanted the younger, hot, like woman who's like, she's definitely like a hooker or a prostitute or something. He's, you know, looked as if he may have money, but then again, like, he was in there arguing about $10, so maybe doesn't. But I just think, like, this is an example of someone that's completely living a life of what can I get. And I think when you have more time and you have a lot of time to contemplate, you start thinking about what can I give. It's no longer about what can I get, because the whole trap of I need money, I need money, I need money, that is more about what can I get, you know? Oh, there's the young, beautiful girl. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? It's all a very selfish act. You know, oh, I need the new car, I need the new this, I need to look at my status. It's all very egoic. It's a narcissism. It's about me. What can I get? Oh, what do I get out of it? Rather than people who can sit with themselves, their time free, the health is good, okay? This person's going to go, how can I go inside and find peace? And then when I find that peace, how can I go outside of myself and spread that? How can I do good in the world? How can I help people? How can I give? It's not a take, it's a give. But people must find presence first. Like, you have to give up materialism for that shit. You can have a few nice things, no worries. Yeah, it's all good. As long as you're not time poor. As long as you're healthy. As long as you're not selfish and you're giving back to the world. You feel presence. Presence is wealth. To feel in this moment. Get here now.